time we switch pod. The boys are back.
Yes,
the boys
sir.
are back. How are you, Chris?
Oh, very well, Coach. How you been?
Yeah, I'm also good. I'm good. The block of European matches. It seems that the Sharks are the only team that let us down.
Hey, man. The Sharks just shake our heads at that other weekend, But overall, good result for all our teams. I think with this block of fixtures, all of a sudden, our teams are looking like they can make
They're
a
looking
run
like contenders, not pretenders.
Yeah, and you're not all around. You have to be impressed by the way our teams have actually played, and it's difficult to actually, it's very interesting how when our teams are that side, they're actually they're more competitive that side than these teams are here.
Yes.
So
yeah, we'll definitely get into that because it seems like the Welsh teams are definitely food for us. I don't even know what an osprey is, but it was food. That thing was food. It was food for the Stormers this weekend.
Yeah.
Let's talk Sharks, Dragons. My overall thought with this is that even though the Sharks won, they won by a big margin. It didn't come off as that impressive to me. I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, it definitely wasn't. The Bulls had this thing wrapped up by halftime. If you think about when they played against the Dragons and the Sharks, I think first half an hour they hadn't even scored a try.
Yeah, look, the Dragons were always going to put up a fight. Let's not be mistaken about that because they had a tough one the week before, so it would have prepared them.
The bounce back.
But I think the Sharks, they had to sort of. I think for them it was all about just getting the result because it was going to be real egg on their face, and it sort of looked like they were building into that game, being more patient and I think for them that was the tonic, in terms of let's just be patient and play it, and things happen for them, So even though it wasn't the spectacular, but they got the bonus point. There were some very good plays, especially the penalty tries. Good. I think the set piece, they really there's a big focus and emphasis on that.
I think they went back to the maul and they went back to the scrums. They were dominant in the scrums as well. Yeah,
and that man Ox, geez, they can't stop that guy. That guy's like he's like because he's like the Sharks is a bull shark, but he's more like a Tasmanian devil, man, because he scrums, he's just scrumming people into the dirt, he's just carrying people on his back, he's that guy is, he's just on another level at Lucid, and rightly so. I think Bongimbo Nambi as well, he had a good shift, I think just that front row, it was almost as if the Springboks in that team, it was that thing where it's just like, why are you guys even box? Because you got to put it together, and they upped their intensity, and that dragged the whole team along, which was good to see. But you expected that, it's Dragons, it was going to be very questionable if they didn't get it together. So they just need to kick on. We hope they do, and it's again going to be against your boys, which is going to make it just a big clash coming up, But I think we'll touch on that.
Yeah, we'll touch areas of concern here. Sharks with the lowest kicking percentage in the whole competition. If we're talking about penalties, Cohen Bosch, he had a better game, but again, it's against the Dragons. It's not higher level competition in this competition. You know what I mean?
Yes. And those stats they count. Because clearly they're not settled at 10. They haven't found. I think if you look across the teams that are doing well, I mean, Jaden Hendricks he's settled, and he's assured.
So settled that he has re-signed with the Lions today. We beat the Rock Nation and Sharks allegations. We beat them. I think this is the first time someone signed with Rock Nation, and they've stayed put besides Cheslin Colby. So I mean, very settled there.
Very settled, and it's good for him. But if you look at the tens, him, Libok, And even at the Bulls, Chris Smith, mind you, as much as Mone Steyn is there, but Chris Smith he's driving the car right now, and he's doing a good job, So then you look at Sharks at 10, it's always it's
a 3-horse race.
It's Currie and Bosch, then there's Bonilla and he Bonilla's, and no. So yeah, it is a concern, especially it translates, the goal kicking, but even the decision making, some of the options. But better game, we'll give him that. He bounced back for sure. But yeah, it's about that consistency. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, I think Jaden Hendricks, Jaden, get a bit confused. Jaden Hendricks had a decent game. His decision making, Werner Kork as well. He's consistent every time he plays, and he was. I mean, that solo try, it looks like, when one guy's playing harder than everyone else, and he just seemed like he looks like a guy that turned up for the game maybe 3-4 hours early. He was just excited to hit the ground,
Yeah, definitely. And talking about Werner Kork, watching that game, I was just looking at the way the Sharks, the setup, in terms of their backs right now, or the team that they put out. And it just got me thinking around, game plans in terms of in their patterns. I think they really need to work more. And yes, Werner Kork will need to work off the ball, but I think they need to have some back pocket plays or plans to actually get him with hands on the ball more often, because he's got the physicality, he's got the power to get through. So perhaps as a first receiver or whatever it may be, just to get over the advantage line or to get him into space, because he can finish, he's lethal as well, And then you mentioned Jaden Hendricks. Sorry, I just want to go back there. But Jaden Hendricks, for me, watching that, at some point, I get the sense that he's slow from a tempo point of view.
It's very slow.
It's very slow, it's labored, and it does put the team under pressure, and we've seen moments of that. And you would just wish that he had the intensity of a Grant Williams, you know what I mean? And if he can fuse that, you can just see his game getting better and knowing actually when to slow it down, when to pick up the pace. It's just something just to keep an eye on. But, overall, the Sharks pack, they got the job done. It was that pack at the end of the day.
Job done. Now the job done was the Stormers versus the Ospreys. Geland was out injured, but it's minor injury. Fulham's are taking over at 15. These Welsh teams, they're just food, man. They're just food. Liverpool was tearing them up from early.
He was enjoying himself, He just had the ball on the string, the hands.
And he kept finding mismatches. Like he kept finding it looked so easy. It looked so easy, They're getting him almost in he was first receiver, but it was almost a wider channel. And he was just finding forwards every single time. And it was just easy every single time. And I've seen a few of these commentators say that Osprey's game is built around kicking. And you're playing the Stormers, whose game is built around transition and returning kicks and being dangerous in that way. It was just a bad match.
It wasn't going to work for them, because the Stormers are lethal. And I quite. If you look at that game, right? Look at that first half, the way the Stormers played. I just want to say this. They played well. They pack. They're working hard. And it wasn't going to be. Look, it wasn't going to be easy because there were some internationals in that pack, right? But they worked hard, and from that, I think they also benefited of having a guy like Paul de Vet in there for their continuity.
The way he was linking with Lubbock as well.
Yes,
I mean, you've even asking questions. Is he better than Herschel Young?
I'm going there at the moment. The way that he played, based off we're looking just at this game, his impact, the way he's been linking, from a decision-making point of view, he is better. Let me say that, right? Because when Herschel came on, you saw his decisions. I'm not saying that he's a bad player. It's that the decisions that he was taking, and we mentioned that they sort of stifled the Stormers, and they couldn't keep that momentum on, So look. I think a big part of that was there. Guys like Daimani, good carries,
Pokomela, Ruiz, those guys, the loose trio. It was an interesting loose trio. When you look at the dynamics of those different players, and they just kept working, and they all bring that individual flair. That we saw Daimani, that pass through. Pokomela was just working, Ruiz with the line breaks. They all bring the individual dynamic, which made it's an interesting back three.
It's a very interesting combination, and how they complement each other, their strengths, their individual strengths, and it sort of comes together nicely for them, and again, look, you think that man's us, we mentioned he found a lease of life, new lease of life, and look, you have to give him credit. You have to give him his flowers.
You have
to. You really have to give him his flowers, because damn, he's brought that physicality.
I didn't know he had that physicality. I didn't even know the way he ran over his man, like Edo van der Merwe against Munster. He ran over his man. The thing with the kick returns, the kick chases. I actually didn't realize how much of a physical player he was.
Yeah. But I believe he's worked on it, definitely. You can see he's put on a bit of bulk, but I think he's more assured of himself and his own abilities, because he's got that ball security where in previous, in the past, he wasn't really that secure, in possession, and yes, he could give you those one or two great moments, but he lacked the consistency. Now he's delivering it week in, week out. And, within the game, it's almost every time he touches the ball, something is about to happen or something does happen. So you have to give him his flowers, man. He's really, credit to him. But again, that Stormers team, that backline, the way that everything's working out for them, it's...
And they did it without Kalant, which is also interesting, because he seems like he's on his way, and it doesn't seem no Kalant, no problem.
Yeah. What I found interesting, okay, yes, no Galant, no problem, but now, okay, Rikus Pretorius at 12 is not bad, it just got me thinking. I think they got more value. I'm not saying Damon Willems had a bad game at 15, he had a good game, and he was there, he was marshalling things there from the back very well. It got me thinking, would they get more value from are they losing more value than what they're gaining by putting him at 15 than at 12, whereas it just seems that they have more value from him at 12, and possibly, I don't know, somebody's got to step up at 15, to take that, because then that ensures they're balanced. Then perhaps you've got you can have Rikus and Rowan Mal fighting out for the 13 jersey, maybe, so yeah, it's just a thought.
Yeah, we'll see how that develops. Let's talk Lions now. Lions versus Edinburgh. This was, Lions, they turned that corner. We spoke about them turning that corner, but this was now a real test, especially because you've got no Odendaal, who has been on form, but who is also leaving. Yeah. So, Noord Nagel choice for captain. I don't know why. Frankie Horn was already the captain, not even a year ago. So I don't even know what's going on there. But the Lions, it's not the same Lions. And my thing is, it's consistency. It's the same consistency that you talk about with us. Is that these guys are now becoming consistent players where they're not even looking the same. Morne van den Berg is he's no longer making the same mistakes. Chituko was the guy that was week in, week out. You know what you're going to get, but you're getting that from other guys now.
Other guys as well, yeah. It's so good for me. I just felt that Lions performance, looking at it, you can see that sort of, now it's like, the boys they're starting to grow up, they understanding, it's okay, this is what they need to do, to beat and put away international opposition. And at times, even if you do score the tries, you have to scrap to hold on to the win, and they did that, because no doubt Edinburgh, they were coming. They were really,
those boys can play. They can play.
They jam. I won't lie. Like, out of all the URC teams, from the north, they look like they've got the more expansive sort of game, but balanced overall because, physicality they've got the set piece, they've got the kicking game, then they've got big ball runners, and they've got the strike plays. So the Lions, well done, man. Vincent Chituka again. But team performance.
Yes, because it's the other guys. You've got JP Smith coming in, who, for me, you see the signing, you're like, he was here, he was there, but especially coming from the American League, is he going to give you that impact? He gave us impact off the bench last week. Now he starts, and he's big carries. He's making himself known. The scrum, he was good. It was next man up. Odendal's out. Raz steps in. Defensively, he did the job. He had some good rip tackles, some good hits. Kewan Horn continues to develop. If it wasn't for him, it's a pivotal moment, because it's like that tackle that he made, where it landed up being a knock-on. You just think, if this is the old Lions, that doesn't happen. They score the try, and then we disintegrate, we crumble. It's game over. But it's margins like that, because what happened after that? They strike back, and they scored from that maul breakaway. So at that moment, I was just like, no, old Lions here, we concede the try. Even if it's by bad luck, we concede the try, and then referee misses something, but it's no longer the same. It's no longer the same. Even to see the way that those guys celebrated at the end. And I mean, Hendricks also has been way more consistent.
Yeah, and look, you have to, talking about Hendricks, yes, he does miss kicks at goal, but the thing is that he bounces back. The way that he because that's what you're looking for, is that, the next job, and the next job he does better, and he keeps you in the game at 10. And you look at that, that's, it's almost day and night, between somebody that's confident and assured like him and Currie and Bosch, where if he misses a kick and you miss another one, and you won't have an impact on the game, and so on and so forth. So like you say, it's the next man in, and everybody's just putting their hands up, and the foundation of it is actually their defense. Even though against Edinburgh, they got tested big time, and they obviously there's still some room to improve, but I think the foundation of that victory of theirs was defense, and being in the right areas as well,
The boys are growing. Let's talk about some men now. The Billa. These are real men here. These are the boys. Yeah,
these guys.
It is. I think the tickets were like 25 rand, so they were trying to pack the house here. They were trying to reach that. I think it was 25,000 people that they could. I think they got close to it. It was around 20,000 or whatever it was. Yeah. But you could feel it. You could feel the crowd. You could feel a difference. This was like old Super Rugby. It was that feeling. It was that feeling. Loftus. You don't think about the fans in the same way, but when you see it, it was this change. But this one was tight until halftime, and then that's when it's like that sign says with the altitude, and then they said it matters.
It matters.
It just mattered. It mattered, and these guys, they got that big win.
Look, what can you say about the Bulls? Yeah, just tight. It's going to be physical. Ulster definitely motivated. They also have some big guns in there. They had a big gun in there in Dwayne Vermeulen. And yes, he had his impact, but overall, it's just, I think, the doggedness and the fight of the Bulls, it's just too much. And the patience, they've got that maturity, you know what I mean? And that composure to not be flustered by what's happening. And I think at the end of the day, you just look at the quality, the tries that they scored. You're like, no.
Also, you see in the beginning, when you see their play and you see the way that they roll on forward, and it's the pick and goes, and then it's the backline, and the way that they roll in their attack. And early on, there was a chance to score a try, and they took that penalty. And normally sides, when they take the penalty, it's almost like giving up. With them, they're like, no, we'll take the penalty because we're gonna get you
right
again.
In front. We're in front and we're coming. And I think even talking about that, I wanted to touch on that. if you saw the when that decision was being made by Marcel, because it was after a series of carries.
Yeah.
So after a series, like I think they had a long passage of players were just pick and go, and they were battering Ulster. And you saw when they got their penalty, the whole pack were around the captain, and it was almost as if the guys are just hungry for more to say, no, let's keep beating them up, and it was like, nah, they know. So, and geez, look, you have to commend that Bulls pack, man. The way they work, the physicality that they bring, it's just next level. Carl Brink, Look, here's another line, Kambu, like, he's massive.
Yeah, I think you talk about physicality. For me, it's even the 1v1s with the wings. Madosh even manhandling this guy. You've seen Zas, you've seen Edo van der Merwe. I don't think these guys are, you talk about the packs being physical. One-on-one with the wingers, these guys have been caught lacking.
Yeah, our wingers are, they're way too powerful, and Madosh has tried, the way he stayed in the fight and spun out of that tackle. Look, there was no way he was passing that back inside, because I think he missed out early on, so
with the stretch
he wanted to get his, so look, great finish, and like you say, one-on-one, and just then you've got lethal guys at the back like Curtly Arendse, you've got Kenan Moody's, he's a big boy, and I like how they're using him. If you look at how the Bulls pattern of play, like all their players, their strike plays, all their players are always in motion, and there's different options, at different depth levels and different attacking angles. It's just, yeah, man. Look, that setup there, you can just see, just like how I can easily see how, how Munster and Leinster have been dominating URC and they dominate that side. You can easily see the Bulls getting to that level where they also start monopolizing, the trophies. They've got the potential to do that.
Yeah, even looking at the log, South African teams, I think obviously we haven't played their kind of playoff rugby. I suppose it'll be different and a lot more tighter, but I do see maybe one or two surprises. Especially considering how things were looking early on. But we're back in it. Yeah, like you spoke about. Yeah, like you spoke about in the beginning, that block of European fixtures is over now. So now we go back to local derbies, Stormers versus Bulls. And again, I think it's going to be like that back three thing of Arendse, Tambwe, Moody versus Galant will be back. Sinatla has been playing well. I'm not sure about Zaz. Sinatla's been playing well. Then you got Zaz. So this one is looking like those back threes. And Stormers at home, they shocked the Bulls earlier this season. Maybe it's payback time.
Yeah, perhaps it is. I think the Bulls will want to right their wrongs. They would want to do that. I think it just, I get the sense midfield, especially you're talking about the backs, I think midfield is going to be key here. And then, of course, the big boys. If the Stormers pack can manage the Bulls pack, then they can get the victory. But look, yes, we've seen they can be surprised and they can be beaten. But I think based on the previous results, I think this Bulls team will want to, they would want to right their own. But it's tight. It's tight here, and it's just with the way that our teams have been playing. The only team that you could really say would maybe these ones they'll get beaten, and it's difficult for me to say it's the Sharks.
Yeah, and that's the next one, and that's the next one. In the words of Desmond Tutu, I'm warning you.
I'm warning you.
Watch out, because we talk week on week. We've seen the Lions improving, and then this one was the real test. But now if they go and do this, it's going to take them even further. And the way that they are playing, I do see it happening. I do see them getting an away win versus the Sharks.
Yeah, look, I'm nervous about this one. I always back my boys, definitely, but look, you have to be realistic and look at what's happening. But a week is a long time in rugby. A lot can happen. Things can change for them. But just on the balance, if you're looking at the way things have been going, they look the most vulnerable team out of our four. So, yeah, look, again, it's going to be, if the weather permitting, everything, this weekend is going to be a humdinger of URC derbies, and it's going to go a long way to see who's actually going to go and represent us in the playoffs, that side,
Yeah, let's talk some quick fire Currie Cup. Pumas hosting Lions. This one, Lions guys, it's just guys playing for contracts here. To be quite honest, it's just guys playing for contracts because it's that's all it really is.
It's a tough one.
Only
it's
interesting for me.
Mbombela.
Yeah, in Mbombela. They got 50 last time at home. I'm thinking they're looking at another 50 because Pumas, it's the unchanged team from when they beat Province. And in the end, they got them in a chokehold. And that's exactly what's going to happen here.
Yeah. It's going to be... It's difficult. It's difficult. I'm trying to find positives here for the Lions. I'm like, hey, okay. You know what? All I can say is the captain is back. As a Latin club guy, he had a bit of taste of victory. Maybe, to rub off, Look, I want this for the youngsters of the Lions, and I have my own biases, but I want this for them, so that they can at least avoid relegation, But look, the Pumas are sitting there. The Pumas are ready, Pumas are ready. They're going to claw them. It's going to be bad, But we're hoping to see at least a bit of growth in terms of limited mistakes from the Lions, if you know what I mean. Like, as much as, yes, the situation is what it is, but you want to at least, they must dish out good rugby, and limit their mistakes and be fearless. And, yeah.
Next one, we've got Griquas at home to the Sharks. I haven't seen the Griquas team, but I'm expecting a similar team from when they demolished the Lions. I think in Yonka in that one, Koma, the center, these guys they were ripping the Lions up, and I'm fully expecting the same thing to happen with the Sharks. I'm fully expecting the same thing to happen. I mean, the Sharks, there's some good players there. There's the loose forward trio, Gumete, they've got Richardson and Fenter, who normally it's either or with them, but they're playing together, and they've got your man Bonilla at 10. But I am fully expecting Griquas to win in this.
Look, maybe the loose trio will save them, Maybe the loose trio will keep them in the fight, but they can only do so much. I'm not convinced. Even I think they've tried the Penley at fullback experiment.
And he's back.
It's not his best position. He's got adds more value on the wing, But okay, the Griquas, they're definitely going to look to put out a similar team, and it's in Kimberley. It's going to be difficult. I expect. Look, it's going to be tough for my boys, man. They need to hold on, but I don't see them doing it.
Yeah, next one, Bulls versus Province. Strong team for the Bulls. The backline. Yeah, that's a backline. They've Johannes, Stein, Stravino, Van Vieren, Hans, Creel, Verity Arm.
No, they mean business.
Yeah, up front, Bismarck, Matanzima. It's a strong team.
These guys, they mean business. See, this week, the Bulls, they're out on a crusade to beat a Western Province. Both Currie Cup and URC. They're not taking chances. They want to put a full stop and underline and say no. So I'm expecting the Bulls to take it. It will be difficult for Province.
The Province team, even when you look at it, I mean, strong enough. They've got Sergio Peterson, De Jong coming back, but I think they'll struggle up front. They're too lightweight.
The potency of the Bulls team, never mind the pack. Just the team, because you see, and we had mentioned this early on, you know, in the start of URC or when they were going overseas about the tempo. And you've seen it translates. It's the same sort of template in Currie Cup.
Once they switch it on.
You know, and once they get going, look, it's difficult to stop. There are a lot of have tried, you know, maybe Stormers, they got it right here and there, but the Bulls had to not be playing at their best, you know. So looking at where we're going and where the fixtures are going, it's a critical period. So it's going to be...
No, Tristan late. It's going to be busy. It's going to be busy tomorrow. Yeah. Any closing remarks, Chris?
Look, I think overall, just our rugby is in a healthy state. You know, we've got good players coming through. We're getting closer and closer to the June test window, July test window, whenever that is. You know, so definitely it's going to heat up in URC, but Currie Cup, you know, as well. It's good if the Pumas and Griquas win, like we say. It will be nice to have them at the end.
Yeah, fully expecting them to get wins at least tomorrow. But that's it for us this week. Thanks for watching.